everyone, my name is Satyanarayan, and in this session we are going to take a look at how to solve examples of statements and arguments. Now, before we start solving certain examples, let us take a look at a typical instruction given for such questions. Each question below is followed by two arguments numbered 1 and 2. You have to decide which of the arguments is a strong argument and which is a weak argument. Give answer 1 if only argument 1 is strong. Mark option 2 if only argument 2 is strong. Mark 3 if either 1 or 2 is strong. Mark 4 if neither 1 nor 2 is strong. And mark option 5 if both 1 and 2 are strong. I hope you are clear with the instructions. Now let's proceed with certain examples. Now, given the statement, should government-established higher-level institutes of technology like the IITs be privatized? The first argument is yes, privatization will make these institutes financially healthy, competitive, and quality conscious. If you remember the rules of statements and arguments, then you will understand that this is an argument based on sound logic. And why is that? Because it is a universally acknowledged fact that privatization does make an organization financially healthy, competitive, and quality conscious. And hence, the first argument can be considered a strong one. Now, the second argument says, yes, privatization is the key of the new era. Can we survive without it? Now, this is a question thrown back at us, and there is no clear analysis on why privatization must be done. And hence, according to the answer key, we'll mark that 1 is the answer, as only the first argument is strong enough. The second example, statement given is, should vacations of court judges be reduced? The first argument says yes, it will speed up the judicial process and many people are likely to get justice in reasonable time. Now, again, it is a universally acknowledged fact that when people work more work is done. And if the vacation of court judges is reduced, then they will be spending more time hearing cases. And it is very likely that many more people would get justice in reasonable time. And hence, this is a strong argument. The second argument is, yes, it is a sign of British legacy. Why should we carry it further? A, this is an argument in the form of a question thrown back to us. And there is no sound logic on why the vacation of court judges must be reduced. Just because it is a sign of British legacy has no logical value at all. Because the second argument is weak and the first one is strong, we'll again mark 1 as our answer. Now the statement is, should the practice of transfers of clerical cadre employees from one city to another government office be stopped? The first argument says no. Transfer of employees is a routine administrative matter and we must continue it. Now, if we try to analyze this, just because something is routine does not mean that it needs to be continued. And just because it is a routine administrative matter does not give any clear-cut logic on whether it should be continued or not. And hence we would consider such an argument to be a weak one. Now take a look at the second argument. It says yes. Why? Because it involves a lot of governmental expenditure and inconvenience to many compared to the benefits it yields. Is it true that when transferring employees, especially from the government, a lot of governmental expenditure is involved? Yes. Is transfer an inconvenient process? Again, yes. Because these are universally acknowledged facts, we will assume that this argument is strong. And hence the option 2 is valid as an answer for this particular question. Now the statement, should higher qualification be the only criteria for internal promotions in any organization? The first argument says yes, why not? In fact, only higher qualification is more important than other factors. Now because of the question mark in this argument, you might be tempted to argue that this is a question thrown back and hence not a strong enough argument. But there is some sort of logic given at the end. So it's not just the question mark, but the logic that we must take a look at. Okay, it says higher qualification is more important than other factors. All right, but how is higher qualification more important? There is no clarity on that. And because of this ambiguity, I would not take this particular argument as a strong one. The second argument says, no, quality of performance and other factors are more important than mere higher qualification in case of internal promotion. Now, this is a clear-cut example of an analysis done. Very clearly they are saying that quality of performance is more important than just assuming higher qualification to be a criteria for internal promotion. And this is an accepted fact. So we will take that the second argument is indeed a strong one, and hence the answer option should be 2. The statement, should Indian scientists working abroad be called back to India? The first argument says yes, they must serve the motherland first and forget about discoveries, honors, facilities and all. Now, this is an emotional appeal and there is no argumentative value to this, and hence the first argument is weak. The second argument says, no, we have enough talent, let them stay where they want. Again, there is no argumentative value, there is no analysis done. It's just sort of an angry emotional outburst. So even the second option is not a strong one, and hence we will mark 5 as the answer. The statement is, should getting primary education be incorporated as a fundamental right in India? The first argument says no. What is the use? Have we fulfilled our duties regarding other fundamental rights? Now this is a question thrown back at the questioner and there is no substantive value to it. So we would not consider this to be a strong argument. The second argument says yes, this is what all the developed countries have done. Again, they are trying to argue using an example which is not a strong way to argue. Hence, both the arguments are weak and the answer option must be 4. Should scheme of lotteries be completely stopped in India? The first argument says no. Many state governments will have to stop some of their developmental activities which they fund from surplus generated by the lottery scheme. Now, let us analyze the given argument step by step. In the lottery scheme, the surplus amount generated is used in the developmental activities. Now, supposing the lottery scheme is stopped, that means there is no surplus generated, and if there is no surplus generated, then any developmental activity which was based on this surplus income would obviously have to be stopped. And is it beneficial to have developmental activities done by the state governments to come to a halt? The answer is no. And hence there is a very clear analysis on why the answer must be no. So this has to be considered as a strong argument. The second argument says, no, many unemployed youth who sell lottery tickets to earn their livelihood will face hardship. Now, the youth who sells lottery tickets to earn his livelihood would obviously not be in a position to sell those lottery tickets if the scheme of lotteries itself is completely stopped. And if the unemployed youth who was earning his livelihood no longer has this particular mean, will he face hardships? The answer is obviously yes. So is that a strong enough reason to not stop the scheme of lotteries? True. And hence we would say that both the arguments are strong ones. Answer option 5. Should dependents of India's freedom fighters be given benefits of reservations in jobs? The first argument says yes, we should keep the dependents happy as the freedom fighters have fought for a noble cause. Now, while it is true that freedom fighters did indeed fight for a noble cause, there is no clear explanation as to why we are obligated to keep the dependents happy, and hence this argument falls short, not a strong one. The second argument is no, we already have too many reservations, let us not add to it. Now, if we have too many reservations, what sort of a logic is that to prevent a new one to come across? If there is a new reservation which has valid reasons, then just because there are many reservations already existing does not give us enough cause to prevent the new one. So this kind of an argument is not technically a strong one, and hence we would say neither of these options is good enough. With the opening of the economy in India, should all worker unions be banned? The first argument is no, worker unions are not banned in the other economically advanced countries. Again, if we remember the rules, then an example is a bad way of arguing. And just because worker unions are not banned in other economically advanced countries does not give an explanation as to why it should be done or not done in our country. And hence this is a weak argument. The second argument is no, a level-headed workers union can really do wonders both for the workers and economy. Now, is there a clear explanation as to what wonders are going to happen for either the worker or the economy? No. Further explanation is required. This argument seems a bit ambiguous and hence we would not consider it to be a strong one. And hence the answer option would be 4, neither nor. The statement given is, should we grant permission to reputed private companies to construct civil airports for general use in India? The first argument is yes, why not? It would be both economical and effective. Now, as seen in one of the previous examples, just because there's a question mark does not make it a weak argument. Let us go ahead and analyze the logic given behind. It says it would be economical and effective if a private company constructs civil airports. Now, the general belief is that while privatization does ensure better quality, it does not necessarily mean that the work is economical, and hence this logic is weak. The second argument is no, it may pose a danger to the security and safety of India. Now, is there any clear reason or logic behind how giving permission to a reputed private company to just construct civil airports be a danger to our security? There is no clarity of this particular reason and hence we would consider this also to be a weak argument. Hence the answer option must be 4, neither 1 nor 2. The examples that we have seen should give you a hint of how to solve examples on statements and arguments. My name is Satyanarayan. We just saw a session of examples of statements and arguments in critical reasoning. Wish you all the best. Have a good day.